Hi, we're Eleanor and Ines, and today we're going to talk about the Tulsa Race Massacre, one of the most violent events in the United States history. This event happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma on May 31 and June 1, 1921. It involved white mobs attacking the black community of Greenwood, a very successful neighborhood often called Black Wall Street. We chose this case because it shows how racism didn't just affect individuals, it also destroyed entire communities, wealth, and opportunities, with effects that are still visible today. So to understand what happened, we need to take a look first at the context. In the early 1900s, segregation laws known as Jim Crow laws were common in the United States. These laws enforced racial separation and discrimination against Black Americans. Despite this, the Greenwood district in Tulsa became a symbol of Black success. It had banks, schools, restaurants, cinemas, and over 600 businesses. Many Black families were financially independent and thriving, which unfortunately also created resentment among some white residents. The violence began with an incident involving a 19-year-old black man named Dick Rowland. He was accused of assaulting a white elevator-operated Sarah Page. Although the evidence was weak and the case was later dropped, local newspapers exaggerated the story, increasing tension. Soon, a white mob gathered outside the courthouse where Roland was being held. In response to that, a group of armed black men, many of them World War I veterans, went to the courthouse to prevent a lynching. During a confrontation, a gunshot was fired, but no one knew exactly by whom, so chaos broke out.
Over the next 24 hours, the situation escalated dramatically. Thousands of white rioters invaded Greenwood. They looted homes, set buildings on fire, and shot residents. One shocking detail is that airplanes were used to drop incendiary devices, making this one of the first aerial attacks on civilians in US history. The destruction was massive. About 35 square blocks of Greenwood were destroyed, more than 1,200 homes were burned, around 300 people were killed, although the exact numbers are still debated, and nearly 10,000 Black residents were left homeless. In addition, many Black survivors were arrested and held in detention centers, while the white attackers were not punished. Insurance companies also refused to pay claims, meaning victims lost everything with no compensation. This event is extremely important in civil rights history because it shows how systemic racism worked on multiple levels, through violence, the legal system, and economic destruction. The wealth of an entire Black community was erased in just one day. Another important aspect is that for decades this massacre was largely ignored. It was not taught in school, rarely mentioned in history books, and even covered up by local authorities. It wasn't until the 1990s that official investigations began, leading to more awareness and discussions about reparations. In conclusion, the Tulsa Race Massacre was not just an act of violence. It was the full destruction of a thriving community and a powerful example of racial injustice. Its long-term impact can still be seen today, especially in the racial wealth gap and ongoing discussions about systemic racism. Events like this remind us that history is not always taught fully, and that acknowledging the past is essential for creating a more equal future. Even today, issues like racial inequality, police violence, and economic injustice continue to affect many communities, making this history still very relevant.